So yes, I'm Laetitia, and I want to first tell you something about myself. 20 years ago, my family decided to move from Belgium to Costa Rica. An amazing choice. They opened a boutique hotel, and I was finishing university in Belgium, studying family education and family therapy. And when I finished, I took first plane ticket, and I just went to Costa Rica. Actually for a sabbatical year, but it has been now 17 years. So when I arrived here, I worked for 2 years with them in the hotel. Amazing experience, but I really felt like I wanted to be connected with my own vocation, with my profession. And so I started going every Saturday to an orphanage, a shelter we have close by in the city of Santa Cruz. And I really realized also by living in living in the village you've been today, that there was a huge need in these communities. I talk about many years ago, 13 years ago, when we started the organization, the kids had no computers at school, they had no physical education, they had no art classes, they were only going to school for 3 hours, maximum 4 hours a day. So there was a huge need of doing something, and I felt that this was really my calling. And I gathered together with some friends, and we all had an amazing idea, I think, to create Cepia. And Cepia, for the ones that didn't hear it this morning or this afternoon, means culture, education, psychology for infants and adolescents. So we were born in 2005, 13 years ago. I was executive director for 12 years, and I want to actually share a little bit of my experience and what I learned from this. So actually I want to invite you all to take a deep breath, please, with me, and to close your eyes, and no cheating, please. Just close your eyes, all of you. And while you close your eyes, I'm going to ask you 3 questions. And I would like you to answer these questions inside of yourself. The first question is, do I care about the communities I travel to? Do I believe I can have a positive impact in the world? And the third question is, do I believe I need a team to achieve my goals? You can open your eyes, and I want to share with you 3 elements I consider very important about leadership. I'm going to talk first about leadership. The first element is leadership is taking care of others and of myself. The second element is leadership is teamwork and networking. And the third element is leadership is not a position, it's action. So, Bill Gates, looking for his name, Bill Gates many years ago said, when we look into the next century, leaders will be those who empower others. And I translate this by believing that we can take care of others. We have to take care of others. This is the first step. And we can do this in 4 dimensions. We can take care of others mentally, emotionally, physically, and energetically. When we take care of others mentally, it means mindfulness. It means really being fully present. It means having that non-judgmental full attention with someone. Taking care of others emotionally means being with an open heart, really having that checking in with the other person, open your heart, and with all the love that we all have inside. Taking care of others physically really means getting close. I feel very far right now, but getting proximate, approaching people, being close, physically, eye-to-eye contact. And taking care of others energetically means that we are all connected. We are infinite energy and we are infinite potential. So I call this authentic leadership. And I believe that the base of authentic leadership is self-care. I will share my personal story has been that a couple of years ago I had a back surgery. I was doing too much and I was taking care of many people, working many, many hours. And I do believe that I wasn't taking care of myself. And I think One of the things I started doing is on a daily basis. I believe self-care is something, taking care of yourself is daily. One of the things I started doing is meditation. My mother, in the middle, is my teacher. She introduced me to yoga and meditation many years ago, and I practiced here and there, but I realized that there are things that we need to do for ourselves, and that doesn't have to be meditation, but can be many things. Can be art, can be music, can be walking in nature, can be doing meditation. But every day we have to take care of ourselves to be good leaders. And for me it was, doing a lot of meditation, yoga, a lot of sports, taking care of my food. And I truly believe that when you take good care of yourself, you become a good leader, a better leader. But the source actually of self-care is vulnerability. You have to connect with your own vulnerabilities to be able to know what you need to do for yourself to take care of others. Dr. Brené Brown said, vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. So, the second element I want to bring tonight is that I believe that leadership is teamwork and networking. And, you are all role models, every one of you, and people follow you. You can inspire people, and the way you treat people, the way you take care of others, the way you take care of yourself is inspirational to others. So, when we want to have successful projects, we need many minds, many hands, many perspectives, many talents. So to deploy team power, I do believe that we have to get together, we have to listen to each other, we have to humanly, deeply connect to bring out the magic in every person in our team. And when we are able to create a team culture that is really profoundly based on common values and purpose, I do believe that we can reach the impossible. We can do amazing things, amazing projects. So I deeply think that common values in your team, purpose in your team, are really the way to create magic. And values are something that you feel deep inside. And when we have that team power, we also need, when we want to do projects, and I talk about also projects in our communities, of course, we need a support system. And this is one of our latest projects from the organization. And, we are providing contraceptive to 1,000 underprivileged women in Costa Rica. We have done 60 so far. We're doing 150 women offering this contraceptive IUD next week, the 15th, and another 800 next year. So, thank you. So, you need a support system, and a support system are our volunteers, are the local doctors, are the local clinics, are the local businesses. This is really, the support system that your whole project relies on. So, and the women. We have women, if you check out our Facebook, Cepia Costa Rica, you'll see these videos about women telling like, hey, there's no problem with a copper tea. You can have a great life. You can have a normal life. It's no risk. It's, taking away all the myths. So it's amazing how everyone in the community, from the women to the doctors to the businesses, participate and make these big projects happen. So the third element I wanted to bring to you tonight is that leadership is not a position, it's action. And we are all in a privileged position to take action, all of us. We have to take risks. We are in a too privileged position, so we have to take risks. And when we connect with our authentic leadership, we connect with our team, and then we connect with the people, the communities we want to serve, we want to create a positive impact in. I believe that there is a space, there is a dialogue, right, that needs to happen, where cultural understanding is key. I'm a foreigner in Costa Rica, so I can tell you that cultural understanding away from ethnocentrism has been a tough one because I had to question my own culture, my own self, and working with Costa Ricans. And I do believe that there is a whole tension that's happening between do the tourists have to adapt to the locals, or have the locals to adapt to the tourists? And we see a lot of things happening where I think sometimes foreigners can actually have no clue what's the local culture and have no idea where they're going, and that there is really a need. And it's maybe like a question I want to bring back to you, every one of you, is like, how are we educating our travelers that come into these countries about the local culture, the local people, and what they really, what do they think, what are their values, and what is important to do and not to do. So I do believe that every one of you has a lot of thinking to do about that. It's your job, so. um, so leadership is action, and I believe that the business sector really has to take a leadership, because the government, we have to work with the government, but the government is not going to resolve everything. They're not efficient at all. And but we can have great partnerships. But I truly believe that the partnership between the nonprofit sector, NGOs, civil society, and the business sector is really where we're going to change the world. That we're really going to have an impact in communities. So I want to share with you some very concrete examples of how the business sector, together with nonprofits, can really make a big difference. Warren Bennett said, leadership is translating vision into reality. So let's go to that reality. We had businesses that made amazing campaign in their business, and they all the employees did kind of a fundraising, and they all succeeded in bringing a lot of tablets to our communities. And this made possible that the children who have no computers at home were able to have access to technology. And I do believe that we have to provide the young generation, even in the most remote communities like here, you wouldn't believe how remote this is and rural, that they need access to tablets, which is an easy way to start with technology. So this is an amazing example of how we can serve the kids together with the business sector. Another beautiful example is the cell phone company Movistar, who sends skilled workers, employees, who are training young adults into the labor market by, telling them how to repair cell phones. And I think every company has amazing people, amazing talents, and these talents can be shared with local communities and create jobs and people who are skilled. That's what we need. Another beautiful example is the hotels and businesses that open their doors to the children. I do believe that this is the Girls Club. We have about 160 girls in girls clubs. The girls clubs are about teaching girls every week about sexuality, importance of education, violence, gender violence, and these girls, they meet every week in a ugly community salon in their village. It's great, it's happening, but when they go to, I think one of the was in Las Catalinas, right, Neil? And another one was in the Marriott recently. For them, it's amazing. I mean, they come out of their village, they see places that they would never have access to. They see what this could be for them. They have a perspective, and this is very important, that businesses open their door to the local kids and teenagers. Well, this is an example. I don't know if it's in Calaluna or Capitan Suizo or Sugar Beach, one of the hotels in this area. Every year they open their doors because these teenagers all dropped out of high school. Very difficult population we work with every year, 20 of them. But we bring them to many places, and we also allow them to go for an elegant dinner in a local hotel, and the staff, the employees, share their personal stories, how they got there, how they became a bartender, how they became a receptionist. So these stories are very inspiring, and also the kids, of course, love, to have a dinner, but it's very strange for them to be in an elegant dinner, but it's important. We need to expose the local kids to these places because this is what makes for them, creates a vision, creates where like, oh, I could do this, I could work here. And we need to create these opportunities. Another great example is we created together with the youth, we created a social business, so going local. And all of you can send us clients, and these foreigners or tourists who come and visit, they're gonna have a really authentic experience in our village. Today you saw the village, so the young teenagers, 2 of them, they bring the tourists around the plaza, they explain to them the culture of Costa Rica and many things. Then the foreigners go to the community center, they spend an hour with the kids, they have a typical lunch, we have a little restaurant at our community center, and all these things that are happening for the local visitors, the visitors on the local level are amazing because, and it creates an income for the teenagers, for Cepia, and also for the people who organize, the locals who organize this. So it's a great example of partnerships between local community and business. This one is probably one of my favorites because Ruben is, I know this kid since he's like, I think 8. That's when he first came to organization. And he was like the kind of kid that participates in everything. Like, you know, he's always there because he lives in a house where they sleep 4 in a bedroom and a whole family, difficult family story around. So he was always at the center. I saw him growing up, and he had an opportunity, Jake of Pura Vida, right, next door here, the paddle boards business, gave him the opportunity to do an internship, and he did an internship for a couple of months, and he got a job. So this is a beautiful partnership. And we have many of them. You know, we try to always ask businesses to, because internships for young people are amazing. We call this kind of dual education, you know, where people can really learn in the field, but also be learning at school and have these opportunities, dual education. You know, 1 on 5 jobs will be in tourism. That's what I read, I think, in the Times last week. So I do believe that we have to create opportunities that for the young people to really experience the work and be able to get into the labor market. And I also want to thank Remote for allowing us to have 2 teenagers this week with them all week. So they're coming in and out. They were there today. And it's amazing for them to be exposed to these experiences and have access to this learning environments. So thank you very much for coming today, and have a pleasant night. Thank you.